How is everybody doing? Nomad here. In today's video, I wanted to go over all the playable characters, or slayers as they're called, in Dead Island 2. And hopefully by the end of this video, you will have a clear idea of what slayer you want to choose from. Now, as we know, all slayers have different playstyles and attributes, as well as skills that are specific to the way they are played in the game. Now, these are going to be in no particular order. I'm just going to go down the line and talk about them one by one. Let's talk about Jacob. Jacob is a solid all-rounder who likes to get in the enemy's faces. Much like Danny, the British stuntman, Jacob is also in his element when up close and personal with waves of the undead, making him the ideal brawler in Dead Island 2. So his skill sets and attributes focus specifically on being up close and personal and dealing damage when you are surrounded by a lot of the infected. His first ability is Frenzy, which provides a damage buff when enemies are killed one after another and can even stack as long as you are consistently dealing damage and killing zombies in rapid succession. His second skill is called Critical Gains, which increases his critical damage stat when out of stamina, giving him the chance to rescue in a bad situation. This is going to give him a little bit more of a damage boost when it comes to crit hits when he is low on stamina. Jacob is just a pretty decent all-arounder, I would say. Next off, let's talk about Ryan. Now, every game needs a tank, and Ryan is Dead Island 2's tank, or let's say the closest thing Dead Island 2 has to a tank. And this is mostly contributed to his Seesaw skill. This is his first skill, which lets him restore some health after knocking an enemy on their feet. So if you're doing heavy attacks with a sledgehammer and you knock numerous zombies on their feet, you will automatically gain some health back, which seems pretty reliable and useful in the game. His second skill is Retaliation, which also increases his force stat after dodging or blocking. So it really pays to get into the thick of it with Ryan if this is a slayer for you. So the idea would be use his Retaliation, dodge and block, then it'll give you a higher percentage chance of knocking the zombies on their feet, which will then give you that health restoration. Now, next off, we're going to be talking about Bruno. Now, aesthetic wise, I think he's the most interesting looking out of all the slayers, I would say. He just has so much going on with his character model and just the way he looks, his clothing, all that. But if you are looking for stealth and this is the way you want to play Dead Island 2, then Bruno is the man for the job. His first ability is called Backstab, which gives him the ability to boost all damage when hitting enemies from behind. So it's going to be perfect in stealth situation. Now, if you guys didn't know, the game doesn't have a day and night cycle, but once you're done with a district and as you progress through the story, certain zones are going to be locked to a specific time of the day, depending on the part of the story you're in. But once you finish a district, you can choose to go into that district and you can choose it to be night or day when you enter that district. So going into each district at night with Bruno and using his stealth is going to be fantastic for people who are into this playstyle. Now, if Bruno finds himself face to face with a flesh-eating foe, his second skill, Rapid Reprisal, buffs his agility after every block and dodge, allowing him to quickly get out of the way and strike from the back. So the idea would be dodging and being able to have faster maneuverability and being able to get yourself back behind the enemy so you can deal that extra damage with his backstab ability. Let's talk about our fourth slayer. This is going to be Danny. Now, Danny can take out multiple zombies in the blink of an eye. Progression to get right in the face of enemies and fight them head on is perfect, with her first ability being Bloodlust, which regenerates health when multiple zombies are defeated in rapid succession. The playstyle with Danny would be specifically just going in, absolutely destroying things as fast as you can to gain this health regen. Now, meanwhile, her second skill, Thunderous, causes any heavy attack to come with an explosive that affects the area surrounding her, dishing out even more damage. Danny is a perfect Dead Island 2 character for those who don't like a run and hide situation. They just want to get in there and they want to get shit done. They want to get all this infected out. They just want to have a bloodbath of a time. But this is Danny for you. Next off, let's talk about Carla. She's not for the faint of heart, but Carla is one of Dead Island's most interesting slayers, at least in my opinion. I think this is a slayer I'm leaning towards due to specific skills. Now, if you prefer to live life on the edge, then Carla is the slayer for you. Carla's Dig Deep ability increases her toughness stat when her health gets too low, meaning you are going to have low health, but you're going to be able to take a lot more damage and not die. Now, her second skill, Mosh Pit, which gives her extra damage when surrounded by multiple zombies at once. It's a high risk strategy, but it's certainly high reward in my opinion. Now, the reason why I'm leaning towards her, because I kind of want to get up in the face of these zombies and just kind of just absolutely obliterate them. All about melee. Is go in, guns blazing basically, or, you know, melee weapons blazing and just obliterate everything our path. This is just kind of the idea of who I want to be. I still haven't fully decided yet. Now, last but not least, we have Amy. Amy is perfect for players who like to stay on the move. As a Paralympic athlete, it's no surprise that Dead Island 2's Amy is all about stamina. So if you guys are all about having a lot of stamina, being able to dish out more attacks over time, then she's the perfect Slayer for you. Her first innate ability is Relief Pitcher, which generates energy every time she successfully throws a weapon. If you guys are into throwing weapons, whether it be a baseball bat or a sledgehammer, and you want to consistently do that playstyle, go back and forth during a combat situation, doing melee damage, and then throwing things to gain stamina so you're always in the fight at all times, Amy is a Slayer for you. Now her second skill, Divide and Conquer, offers a damage boost when attacking a zombie who strayed from the crowd. By pairing these two skills, Amy is ideal for players who like to move around, to disrupt the hordes, and pick off enemies once isolated. So if this is a playstyle for you, then Amy is the one for you. Now guys, as we know, going into Dead Island 2, it's not going to be like the first game. We're not going to have as much of an expansive skill tree. The skill tree is going to be separated into 4 categories. These categories being abilities, survivor, slayer, and Newman. But at the end of the day, guys, the cool thing about this game with this card system is we can find so many cards along the way, whether that be through story progression, finishing specific missions, killing specific enemies. And the cool thing about it is we have the ability to change these cards on the fly. So picking your Slayer is just going to be the base of what you want to do. As you guys know, when it comes to most RPG games and games with some sort of a skill tree, you pick a good base and you can build off of that. One thing I do want to let you guys know is about the autophage system in the game. The developers really haven't talked about this, but this system basically is a negative effect. So each card is going to give you a buff and each card is going to give you a negative effect. These negative effects will stack, and the more you have, yes, it's going to benefit you. You're going to have better skills, you're going to have better traits, you're going to have better stamina, health, whatever it may be, regeneration, but you also are going to have negative effects. But I hope this video gave you guys a little bit more of a breakdown and helped you guys out with maybe making a decision on what Slayer you're going to go for. Let me know what Slayer you guys are thinking about. Again, like I said, I'm thinking about Carla. I don't know if I'm fully set on that. It's either Carla, Annie, or Amy. I kind of am balancing the 3, but we will have to see. But again, I know I'm going to do multiple playthroughs. Let me know what your first Slayer is going to be. I appreciate every single one of you guys. Drop a like on the video and subscribe for everything Dead Island 2, as I will be working with Deep Silver and Dan Buster Studios on the release of the game. I'm super excited for this opportunity. I appreciate every single one of you guys, and as always, stay happy, stay hyped, and have a beautiful day.